game go, bro?
Do you play
Game
from the
bro?
heart?
Game go?
You game go, bro?
Yeah, after school tea time. We're, chilling. It's a nice chill episode. We're not all horned up from talking about waifus.
That last one was about waifus, and
Yeah.
they got a little too horned up about it.
Very horned up. You
like-
gotta be reasonably horned up for waifus. Otherwise, what's the point?
There's no podcast without it.
Yeah.
But no, like, for me, it's been, like, fairly slow. I was talking to you about it, like, before the cast, but, like, I just been in this really, like, methodical, like, mood. So I just been playing a lot of, like, turn-based shit and just watching a lot of, like, slow build-up things.
I've been rocking out turn-based as well.
Turn-based?
And also, juggling. Juggling 3 battle passes.
Jesus.
Too much. It's too much. Why the fuck have I... Well, this season, a new season flipped over. Like, thank God they're not all happening at the same time. Like, this season of Fortnite started, and I'm not getting it. There's nothing in there that interests me, so I'm just like...
Is the Leon skin new, or is that just a broad
New
map?
Leon skin and
Okay.
Claire skin. The Claire skin I'm into, because I like the idea of running around as somebody in a red jacket and a ponytail. I love an action ponytail.
I like the secondary movement that goes with that.
Often when I have a create a character,
Mhm.
I'll have a ponytail because, like, hey, I'm fighting melee. I can't have my hair going around covering up my eyes.
My go-tos are always I either make Big Boss if possible, or I make Best Girl Asuka from Evangelion.
Best girl, but she's not a waifu.
She's not a waifu. She's Best
She's
Girl.
not a waifu.
Yeah.
So there's a differentiation between a best girl and a waifu.
For me, anyways. Some fucking people are heathens and they don't see a difference, but for me it is.
I wouldn't have her as best girl. I'd have the clone of Shinji's mom.
Listen,
No,
like,
no.
whenever this gets brought up, you're not talking to me. You're talking to me at
14,
I was 10.
10.
Yeah, I watched
Okay.
Evangelion when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to get into waifus,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
So-
waifus.
waifus are evergreen,
Yeah.
but Haruka Mishima from Razafon, that's just
Yeah,
ooh,
that's
that was sexy older woman.
talking about sexy older women. I've been fucking that. I don't think she's that old, but like she does give the mature feeling. I believe the anime's name is Noribito, Guardian of the Water or Guardian of the Spirit, something like that.
Moribito?
Yeah,
There's like a woman with a spear.
her.
That's been in my queue forever, and I've just never gotten around to watching
It is very slow because apparently it's based off of a novel. I don't know if it's like a visual, like those weird perverted novels, or just like an actual like hero's journey novel. But it's fairly slow building and with like a lot of like valleys in it, and it is very engrossing to watch, even though there's not much happening.
Yeah, watch
It's watch for her.
because
You like Spear.
the same. I do love spears.
Mhm.
Isn't it the same director as Mushishi? Something like
yes.
that. Okay. Yeah, I love Mushishi, but again, like that slow,
Mhm.
kind of chill atmosphere. I dig it. I dig it. I'll watch it eventually, maybe.
Mm. Me and my girlfriend tried to watch this one called Toma-chan is a Girl. So I'm familiar with this anime just mostly because like I've been seeing screen caps of like the manga here and there. From my understanding, it's just like a 4-panel like gag manga or 4-panel like
Oh, okay, like an
one-shot.
Alju manga.
Yeah. About a tomboy girl that likes her childhood friend.
Mhm.
But because they're childhood friend and she's a tomboy, it's like,
Yeah.
you're my bro, dude.
I hate that trope's annoying.
It's annoying, but like, I like the 3 main girls in the thing. And this is one of the few times where like, I like the main girl.
Okay.
And that we tried to watch the anime of it, it's like, it's okay.
Is it over with? Is the overarching plot resolved? Did they?
We just watched the 2 episodes, and they
Okay.
do the thing where like an episode is actually like 2 12-minute gags.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, yeah, so I might watch it as a palate cleanser here and there, but like, I'm just rewatching Witcher from Mercury just because April is right around the corner.
Yeah, and also almost all the episodes are on the YouTube channel, so I'm gonna rewatch. And I don't know, something like Azumanga Daioh, like I was talking about this with Junji Ito, some manga just doesn't translate well to anime. Just doesn't.
Some do the opposite, where like you just watch the anime just because it's that kinetic energy doesn't translate well sometimes.
Like Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
And also that artist, he's not good.
Nope. That's kind of
good. I like his story. I like his world.
That's kind of how I feel with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
The art is not great.
Yeah.
But like
every week I tell myself like I don't like Jujutsu Kaisen. Why am I reading this week to week? I'm like, I'm in it. I'm already in it.
Yeah.
It seems like they're approaching the end game, but like a Bleach or a Naruto or My Hero Academia, like this final arc could go on for years, man.
Luckily, this new like mangakas are like no, like literally all my predecessors have died from this shit.
Yeah.
We want to be able to wrap these things up.
This JJK does seem to be moving along faster than stuff that came before it. I mean,
Demon Slayer like ended.
Yeah.
And it's not coming back, which I'm happy with.
But
I like Demon Slayer, but like I like it so much. I like it because like oh shit, there's an end to it.
But like I just hate the power scaling in JJK.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, there's
in JJK.
It's a little annoying because they talk about like the rankings and then they're like those 3 S rank or whatever, like the special class, and then they introduce him and they immediately get defeated. Like, what's the fucking point? And they like did no permanent damage to the final enemy. Like, what's the point? These guys are permanently wrecked, so they're not gonna play into the final fight. So like, I guess the main character is gonna find some sort of special.
Like, there's gonna be a MacGuffin.
That was annoying. Of just like, fuck.
Instead of curse energy, we're gonna use good energy instead.
Yeah, or just like how they I don't know, spoiler for like a fight that lasted a chapter and then they moved on. Like maybe he's gonna cancel out the enemy's cursed energy and they're just gonna fight as dudes. Like I'd be okay with that, but it's like no, there's gonna be something where his power jumps up rather than the other guy's power come down.
I like the idea of that just because when I think we were talking about it last week, or I'm just echoing back to like a Metal Gear conversation where I had somebody that the pinnacle, the final fight in the timeline of Metal Gear is 2 old men fighting. 2 old men just fist fighting.
It's right in against the senator, jacked up on nano machines technically. But yeah,
it's just like fuck weapons, fuck ideology.
We're just going to
punch you in the face
out of each other.
Yeah.
We're 2 men on top of a weirdo submarine. We're just going to punch each other. I do love that.
Yeah.
It has one of my least favorite boss fight things of just like, all right, all the mechanics you've been learning to this point, we're just throwing them out and you just gotta like I
Liquid Ocelot or just overall in the game?
It's Liquid Ocelot where it's just like we're using completely different buttons or we're using completely different mechanics and
like CQC, just if you didn't use it, it would get fucked.
And it's actually kind of challenging.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, well, because with the boss fight, you actually use all of the mechanics of Snake Eater in that encounter, and this one's just like, see ya. Everything you've been doing up to this point is just has nothing to do with anything. Like, which is why I love Ishinashino, where like every little thing you've been doing has been training you for this one fight, and it's the ultimate test. I love it. I love that kind of boss fight.
I think that's why like DMC 5 and 3 always like stick to my head of like, oh, this is like pig boss fight.
Yeah.
Because everything just builds up to this one last fight as well. Plus, you just want to kick Virtue's ass the whole time.
Yeah.
Just that whole smarmy thing that he has going on.
The second to last boss fight of Zone of the Enders 2, where they take away all your abilities, and it's just like, dodge and know your basic melee.
Yep.
Like, be able to read your opponent. That's it. Otherwise, you just... I love that fight. I mean, that fight... The first time I played that...
It was frustrating the first time
It
I
took me
played.
forever to get it. Like, I stayed up... I was in high school. I stayed up until, like, 4 or 5 in the morning. Just like... I got school the next day, but I'm... Like, I gotta beat this.
And what I like also, the antitheses of that were like... And the only one I can think of from the top of my head that did it well, because I can think of another one that didn't do it well. It's like Dark Souls when you fight Wen for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you build up like your power levels like so high, and then you just fight the shell of a man.
Yeah.
Like that just hits differently, but it's also like rewarding and sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the one that did it really shittily was Final Fantasy X. With Yu Ye-Wan.
Yeah.
Because that's disappointing. I still consider Jed the final boss.
I forgot about you, Yevon.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that, you are killing God. But like he's the
It's just a victory lap, if anything.
exactly,
Yeah.
because it's more emotional for Jack to be
Yeah.
the final boss. Because you're fighting your dad, man, and
That's what everybody
Yeah.
wants.
and even he is like, you gotta do this, son.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do it. You gotta kill your dad sometimes.
I think because I've been in that like turn-based mood, I think, and I looked it up too earlier. I think I'm finally gonna play Final Fantasy IX.
Dude, get on PC, download those mods.
What are the mods for?
The AI tweaking of the backgrounds.
What do you mean?
Because, like, you know, the pre-rendered backgrounds,
Yeah.
they kind of, like, look kind of shitty.
I'm not expecting much of a
Dude,
PlayStation 1 game
those...
that got emulated.
Also, they changed, like, because it has it's based off the mobile port, so it has the mobile UI
Oh,
and
shit.
the shitty fonts. The mods fix that, too. I'll
Okay.
send you the link if you
Okay.
want to get it on.
Yeah. Maybe.
But,
Maybe, like...
you're going to be a Switch boy. I'm going to put you in bed.
Yeah, actually.
Piece of
No, that's
shit.
actually true.
Yeah,
That's straight up it. Like, I want to be able to, like... I want to be able to, like, lay down and just, like, play my Switch. Yeah, I unfortunately, that Switch has become my JRPG machine, and it's just convenient. I'll fucking sacrifice so many things for convenience sake.
This is why you put your PC right next to your bed.
I just have to break it up to my girlfriend that the
Yeah.
PC is gonna be in her spot now.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I need to be able to.
But no, yeah, for somebody that like loves raid mages and dragoons, I've never played
14? Oh.
I've never played Final Fantasy IX, which has a dragoon with the red mage aesthetics.
I've said this before, but it's arguably my favorite numbered.
It's a lot of people's like, no, this is peak Final Fantasy.
9, 10, and 5 are like my three
Mhm.
favorite, and depending on the mood. Yeah. Just because aesthetically, I love the world. It's just, the characters are charming.
Well, it's like Sakaguchi's like goodbye too as well.
Yeah.
So he just had to give it its all.
Was the last one for a while with a
Yeah.
world map.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
I just don't know. The thing is like I'm also coming in with like, you know, like I have like years of like knowing of it through osmosis. So I don't know how I feel about Necron.
No, it's fun. It's fun. It's the opposite of the EU Yevon thing. I'm just like, yeah, here's a thing.
Because it just reminds me so much of Golbez.
With here's Seamus.
Yeah, like
By
that,
the way.
like that just made me like, oh, like I love 4. Like 4
Yeah.
is like one of my top 3
Mhm.
easily. But it just ends so shittily.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, your brother from a weird race that you know you were proud of, mind control by the
Yeah,
real
mind
big
control the whole
bad.
time.
And guess what? The real big bad had a even eviler part inside of him.
Yeah. I really want to play Final Fantasy IV the after years. Like, I hear it, I've only heard bad things about
Yeah.
it, but like, I want to see this story through. I mean, it's not good, but I want to see it through.
I've gone on record saying like I will play a 6 out of 10 game. I will give them a higher chance than a 10 out of 10 game, just because I know usually what a 10 out of 10 game looks and what it feels like to most people, and I just don't, unfortunately don't like that feeling. I like a little rhyme. I like little pitfalls because it makes me appreciate the high so much more.
Yeah. Speaking of 10 out of 10s, just because we're recording this, I'm not playing RE4 right now. Or
Me either.
RE4 Remake. Are you getting it?
When it's on sale.
Oh, okay.
I'm not similar. I've never played Resi 4, so I'm gonna wait for it in a sale because I don't want to pay $70 for that. I know it's gonna be good. I know it's gonna be great. I keep hearing.
Oh, that's right. You're a console guy. $70 games.
Yeah. It's just I like since I work on a computer like 8 hours a day. I just like being able to make that break point.
No, you haven't blended, man.
Yeah.
When I was working remote, that was when I finished Final Fantasy 14. I'm just like, all right.
You're already there. Why not?
I have a month. Like Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed by a month. I need a month to play. I need a month. I have a free month to play something.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Word and on the clock, and then clock out. Then just play straight through.
Mm-hmm.
Go to sleep, and then do the routine all over again. And then months later, resub, play through Stormblend, Shadowbringers, and
I still like to get on those. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for Resi 4 to go on sale, and then I'll pick it up, and I'll probably be blown away because I keep getting told that's not only one of the best Resident Evils, also one of the best GameCube games ever made.
And also, the remake has, people are saying, the best combat of any Resident Evil.
Oh, okay.
With the, because they added in parrying with the knife.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I'm excited about those new mechanics.
I saw there's like light stealth mechanics, which just tickles my wiener.
Yeah.
And, I know I'm not expecting Evil Within 2, but like
Yeah.
I would like to do some light stealth thing and just kill an Spaniard and then just go at it.
Because that might be... I'm
And
excited.
and don't get me wrong, like the prospect of killing Spaniards left and right, like really does make me want to spend the $70 on it.
Of course, you want to kill the Spaniards.
Why wouldn't I?
They killed so many of our guys.
Exactly.
We gotta pay it back.
Even it,
Yeah.
but like,
Well,
but yeah, like I'm just gonna hold off. Like after finish, because I've been playing Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem and Octopath Traveler
advanced.
too.
You gotta say advanced.
Advanced. I've been playing Final
Because-
Fantasy Tactics
yeah.
Advanced.
So
Octopath
you
Traveler
can make
2.
people think you're a real man by saying tactics, but it's advanced.
It's
You're,
advanced.
you're a little middle schooler.
Octopath Traveler 2, which is fantastic. That game is
Yeah.
fucking great.
Do you want to get into it? Get into the weeds?
I'm super down because we didn't get to last time. Like,
Yeah.
you played the first one, didn't you?
No.
No? So, they do this really fun thing of like, it is sort of like a love letter to like old school turn-based JRPGs. You have your 8 characters, and each one of them have like a job specifically glued to them.
Mm-hmm.
But in the first one, they do this thing which, and this is just a main gripe with me. They gave the thief, each character, even though they'll have like their specific job attached to them, they also do one unique thing to them.
Mm-hmm.
The thief in the first game, he was the only one that was able to open purple chests in the overworld. If you didn't have him in your party, you were shit out of luck in not opening that chest.
Mm-hmm.
And that chest was unique. It will have like powerful weapons, so it's not the more powerful weapons that you could get at the time. And I found that really annoying. However, the thief character, Thavion, he's fucking cool. His story is good, and he was my favorite character to play with. I play him as a thief cleric, and he was super fun because the way that they do it is like your healing magic scales off of your special defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stacked that up, and the thief had an ability to steal mana and share it with people.
Oh, okay.
So you were able to heal mana. You were always able to heal HP.
Yeah,
and
so
you
real utility. For it.
exactly. So I didn't know they took away the purple chest, and I went with the thief lady on the second one for the same reason. And they revamped the thief job.
Mm-hmm.
So it is straight up more of a support focused job that's also able to do some damage. However, the thief lady is really hot.
Yeah, Throne.
She has a really cool fucking storyline up to chapter 4. Because chapter 4 is kind of shit.
Yeah, she's trying to get out of that guild that she's a part of, right?
Yes, and it gets it's really fucking cool up to chapter 3, and then when you hit your chapter 4, for her, it's like, that's weird. And then I step back with it, and it's like, no, this is actually a really good story. Not it. Chapter 4, her chapter 4, unfortunately, does bring back down the whole like story and the whole like climax of it.
Mm-hmm.
But still, really good fucking story, and also like really cool boss fight. But anyways, I'm getting too much in the weed of that. But Throne, her special thing makes her one of the best support characters, because every single character in this game now, they added overdrives to their kits. So you have UBP, which allows you to like take extra turns or make a sequence hit harder, or make certain abilities do the thing more times. They give him overdrives, and each overdrive is completely different from each other. Her overdrives that she gets another turn.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do, so now the way I built her now is like I made her a hunter cross. I made her a thief cross hunter. So she has all the debuffs, and whenever I break the opponent, I'm able to use the second turn debuff, do an attack, and then everybody just go fucking hog wild. But like no, like I really fucking love like Octopath Traveler 2, and I went about it this way differently than the first one, because the first time I played Octopath Traveler, the first one, I actually went back to it 3 different times because I would just get burnt out at one point. And then on my third time, I decided to play with 4 characters, do all the storylines, and then once I beat everybody's storylines, because your first character that you pick is actually locked in until you beat all their storyline, and then you're able to change them. Beat 4 character storyline, and then switch over to the other 4 characters, because then they will have broken ass equipment. I'm able to like rush through and just enjoy storyline and not worry about dungeon stuff. That made the game so significantly better. And this new one, I did it as well, and I'm so happy I did that decision, because game kind of like pushes you towards that way, because the characters also have like separate actions that they can do outside in the overall. They straight up is like, hey, like there's 2 continents, there's an east continent and a west continent. All the people from the west, if you make a party of the west people, you can do all the actions in that party. On the east, you can do all the actions if you have a party of just the east people, and they're fairly balanced parties too.
So it's like they really took their time to understand how people played the first game,
Exactly,
and then made tweaks based on that. Like, how do we smooth out the experience?
I literally can't. Literally, the only thing I can think of that I like in the first one better than the second one, aside from characters, and even then, I just like the dance. Aside from characters, is the fact that there's 4 secret jobs in both games. In the first game, you have to kill the boss that uses that secret job in order to get it. You don't have that in the second one. You do like a side quest, and you get the secret jobs.
I like the idea of killing the secret.
That's my only. That's literally my only complaint. But everything else, I think they did it so much better. And the other complaint I have is like, I like the dancer better in the first one than the second one. But the second one is like, it's nice because its story is not super depressing. Because one thing I found out, I went with the west side people first. No, the east side continent first, because that one had Throne. Their stories are their stories are depressing. Throne is trying to break away from her assassin guild that she's breaking off of. Oswald got convicted of a crime that he didn't commit, and he's trying to get revenge.
Yeah, he's the sorcerer, right?
That's
Yeah.
correct. Temenos, he's uncovering a
Church scams.
a deep-seated church scam,
Yeah.
and bOTCHED is trying to end the end of the world because the dark world might be taking over. Granted, bOTCHED is very happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, she's
And
the cat girl.
Yeah.
Like the hunter.
I thought I was gonna hate her. She's really fun. I like her a
Yeah.
lot. Her whole gimmick about jerky and being kind to animals, it actually hit in such a way. And on top of that, whenever you give her all the BP to do like her big, massive like AOE or DPS that she does,
Mhm.
she goes rar.
Okay.
And I like that so much than the other ones. Plus, it's like a nice little thing. I like because Throne has the whole femme fatale thing going on. Oswald is straight up like a super like edgelord curmudgeon old man that just needs to have his revenge. Temenos is a smarmy ass like investigator, and bOTCHED just like a cat girl
Yeah.
that likes to eat beef jerky.
See, everything about this sounds appealing, but it's just I don't think I'll have the time. It's like I'll play this in 2023.
Yeah. No,
everything I've heard about, I'm like this.
I
This
had
seems
to,
like they've corrected everything that I heard bad about the first game.
I had to break it to you. We're already in 2023.
2024, I
Yeah.
guess, because I got to catch up on Square Enix mediocrity and play Diofield Chronicles.
Let me know how that goes because I'm like super curious.
I
about
like
you.
the combat when I played the demo, man.
But like, yeah, and I now like, no, and you're not even wrong about that because with my first party, I got the other two secret jobs because one of them is looked into the other people.
The West Side.
Yeah, but but I'm also discovering because I'm going through it and reading different threads. A bunch of things also looked into the East Side. So even if you go with a full West Coast party, there's gonna be shit looked in because you're not dealing with the East Coast party, which is like more rewarding to play with.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like my first playthrough of the West Coast of like the East Coast party, doing like what I wanted to get done was like 50 hours, and now I'm going through East Coast and I'm 10 hours in. I'm way far ahead than I used to be before. But like I'm enjoying the shit of it. Like all the characters are fun. Like all the mechanics and gimmicks that they give them is fun. There's a couple like classes where I feel like they get a little too balanced, where I don't feel like I want to use them.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I use them with the right guy, it feels so much better. Like for example, like you're familiar with the main core like gimmick of the combat, right? Like
Yeah.
like each opponent has its own like shield gauge that you have to break using the correct equipment or elemental attack. Temenos, the scholar's like overdrive shit, he just gets to break them. That's his overdrive. So yeah, whatever I use, he just breaks one of them. So you give it the scholar job, and the scholar job has like a 3 to 5 chance to hit you with spells.
Mm-hmm.
So you just use his overdrive that, and you can break like 5 shields out of nowhere. And if you bump him up all the way, he can make it like 10 different spells that he hits, and guarantee breaks every single time. So there's like a bunch of like random shit that like it makes those characters unique. So it's no longer like a situation where the first one had where like the main thing that separate them aside from like the like storylines was also just slightly their stats.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like now for the second characters, no, it's not only the personalities, their story, their stats, but also the shit that they can only do uniquely, because each character also has EX skills that only they can do.
So it also just makes team composition more important.
More important and more fun also.
More fun.
Like
Okay.
dude, let's
'Cause
go
that's-
around because like
I'm all about the team comp, man.
like
Love
for
team comp.
like I'm gonna give you like a random example. Like Throne has, so all characters have 2 EX skills. One of them looked into finding a shrine of their respective job to give it the EX skill, and the other EX skill that you get is finishing the storyline. For some reason, I like it better this way. They gave the darkness element to Thieves because she's an assassin now, so it makes more sense than to give her fire. her EX skills that she gets through her job shrine, she has an AoE darkness spells, and she's not really like lenient towards like magical spells, so she doesn't really do that much damage. However, she gets a physical dodge to the whole party.
Nice.
So the whole party cannot get hit by a physical attack once. And that's something that she can only do. You can put somebody else in a thief job,
But they're not getting that.
they're not getting that. And her second like EX skill is like she just gets mimic.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you bump it up, you can do mimic. You can. It's not only like I do the last action. It's like I turn into this motherfucker.
So that's mega, because.
And if you bump her up, like giving her the BP bonus things, because every turn you get a BP, like a BP point that you're able to expand by making things stronger, she becomes that other unit for 4 turns.
See, I'm into that because
Mimic strategy has always been like the most broken shit ever.
Go-Go,
Mm-hmm.
best character from Final, one of the best, the best character from, I'm just gonna say best character from Final Fantasy VI, because you have one of your mages cast double Ultima and then you just get that for free.
One thing I didn't know when I first played Final Fantasy VI, how broken magic was.
Yeah, it gets silly.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of just having Terra and
I had Celis.
Celis, both my party.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's. I can't remember if you're supposed to be able to get them, but like casting double Ultima for 1 MP each. I had the accessories to do that on both those characters. I can't remember if it was through official means or if there was like a item cloning glitch. Yeah.
It sounds like an item cloning thing.
Yeah, because I knew there was like some wonky stuff that you could exploit, and I probably exploited that. So yeah, I had both Terra and Celis in the party, both casting double Ultima for 1 MP each, and then Sabin doing Bum Rush, and then Go-Go. So like, yeah, just quad nines just flying at the enemy.
I had the same party except for Go-Go. I had Cercer. And I only had Cercer because I was so in love with Gambit from X-Men.
Okay.
So when I started, so I was like, oh shit, I can have Gambit in my Final Fantasies? Hell yeah.
So the thing is, like, Final Fantasy VI gets held in high regard, but I think it's purely nostalgia because there's fucking, 16 characters? And 12 of them are shit. Or there's 12 or 16.
There's like 12 characters, 12 characters, half of them are shit.
Yeah, 'cause I think most of them are shit. Like, Realm, Strago, Gao, Mog. You're not fucking using any of them. You're only using them when you have to split up the group in the final dungeon.
So,
Shadow kind of sucks. He's only cool because he looks cool. And
Shadow, I'll agree with you with Shadow. The other characters, they're really good. You just have to work for them. And when like the return on investment on somebody like Terra, Celis, Sabin, it's very minimal. Like what would you use?
Locke. He's not.
Locke is. I like Locke a lot.
He's like the fastest character.
The one that makes me so sad that sucks is Cyan or Sane, however you pronounce it.
Cyan.
Yeah.
He's good
because
in the middle of the game.
Because his whole gimmick of like I have to wait.
Yeah. Cyan, he sucks later. He's good in the middle.
Yeah. And apparently in the new versions, it still fucking sucks. They make him better by making his Bushido shit like better, because now you click on the one that you want and he waits, but then you can still battle. You're no longer locked into like that wait thing.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. However,
still
like
sucks.
Yeah, it still sucks. It's like by the time fucking Realm and Strago and the other cat and Moogle's fun too.
Look, he's okay.
I'm not saying he's good. He's fun.
I gave him the jump boots so he could.
Well, that's the build.
That's like the only.
That's the build.
Otherwise, he has nothing. He's nothing going.
You give him the imp. You give him all the imp shit. You make him imp don't stop, and then he just wrecks shit.
Because you can.
I also really like Umaru.
He's not a fucking useless guy.
I like Umaru.
I can't even remember what he does.
He fights.
Oh, he's the berserker.
Yeah.
Right? No. Yeah. Okay. And Gao could.
He is the.
He could just mimic the. Yeah.
Gao
jumps into other animals.
Gao and Strago are the blue mages. Strago's is straight up is strictly like classic blue mage. Gao is the hunter type blue mage.
It's not even mechanically 2/3 of the cast sucks. Story wise, you could sum up these characters and their arcs in 1 to 2 sentences. It's just like, yeah, who gives a shit? Like again, the main people who have storylines are Terra or Tina for our Japanese fans, which
That
they're
still
probably not.
wrecks the shit on me. It's just like, we not split up the names.
Yeah. Tina, Celis, Locke a little bit, but Edgar and Sabin. Those are like the only characters who have kind of storylines that run throughout the game.
Fucking Realm, Shadow, and Strago have a whole
That's
family
a
situation going
whole
on.
fucking. You could summarize that in 1 or 2 sentences. Like
Do it.
fucking dickhead ninjas secretly the dad of the artist bitch, and Strago's just some guy who's like the grandpa. That's it. That's it. That's the whole storyline for 3 characters summed up in that shitty, poorly formed sentence.
I
That's
will
the whole storyline.
urge you to play it now or more recently. Just like pick it up, fucking download it legally, play it, and you'll be like, okay, this is better.
That's
than I
not even
thought.
a game I played as a child. That's a game I played like in my late teens or early 20s.
Well, yeah. Well, you played it.
It's like,
you played
yeah,
at this. You played it at the high point of being like, I'm smarter than this.
No, because like I played 5 beforehand and just like, oh, this is awesome. I could really build a party. And I played like fucking 7, 8, 9. I think I maybe played it after 10. I don't remember. But just like, oh, like the story sucks. The party, it's better than 4 in the sense that you could actually build a party.
Yeah, I'll give you
Because
that.
4,
Four, unfortunately, just like you have.
yeah.
Four, unfortunately, like, hey, you have your white man. I forget her name. The white man.
Rosa. How could you
Rosa.
forget?
Okay. You have Cecil. You have Rosa.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have Kine. I have Kine because I like dragoons.
I say kind. Kane.
Spanish bit.
Uh.
I played it when I was learning English.
Like Kane and he has Abel's lance. Kane and Abel.
It's Abel y Kine.
Ew.
It's a language thing.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's the same fucking bullshit that you give me for.
This is why they don't let you vote.
It's the same fucking bullshit that you give me about like Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resi.
Yeah, call it Resident.
No, that's
It's short for Resident Evil.
The Europeans say that.
Mm,
RE4, man.
whichever. But no, yeah, like
Yeah.
I really like. I want to say like
Because 6 pushes the idea of the character is the job,
yeah.
but 6 actually lets you choose your party, whereas 4 was just it. They
You
came
can change
in
it
and
so
out
many
as the-
times, and the very
as the story
last,
goes on,
and then
yeah.
the very last leg of the story, you get to change it. But like, why would you change it when, like, 3 of the like, that's a party of 5, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a party of 5. Where like,
Cat Wolf.
where like 4 of the like you really are in a disadvantage if you don't use these 4 characters. But no, like 6 is. I really like 6, and I played it like a couple years back in like when quarantine hit really hard. It's like, you know what, like I need a little like
Comfort food.
yeah, and I played it recently. Like, oh shit, this is way better than I thought. Nostalgia aside, because there was also able to be, I was able to see like, oh, this is shit, or it's like this is not good writing, or like, you know, like I would have done this differently. But like the payoff in the whole thing just feels so good.
Man, I gotta replay Final Fantasy 9 before.
You know what? I'll totally give you that. Like, yeah, why not play 9? I keep
'Cause,
hearing that's the Kino entry.
Another thing of just like the of 4, 6, and then 9 of just the
Oh, the
characters.
characters of the job.
Yeah,
It's so here's the bit.
but they don't. You have more flexibility. Oh, kind of. I don't know.
It's a
The
party
whole
of 3
thing
or
of those
4.
games, just like like Octopath corrected it, where the
Mhm.
party or the character is the job, but like no, let them have them be able to build the party sooner. Like I
Yeah.
get you want your to tell your story,
Mhm.
but if you're gonna shove combat out on us as much as you are,
Mhm.
like let us build the party that we want to build sooner.
Talking about that, one of the things that I feel like that they're really good, really right on Octopath Traveler 2 aside from 1. It's like 1 had, and some people, I don't really call it an issue, I call it more of a design decision. Where like in the first one, there's only one job available for the whole party. So if you have your thief become a hunter, you cannot have somebody else become a hunter. Because if they become a hunter, it take the hunter job from the thief. In the second one, there's guilds. So they give you, when you meet the guild for the first time, they give you a license. So that way you can only have one of that job available.
But you could transfer between characters?
Yeah, so it would be like, hey, like, you join the cleric guild. You have the cleric job available to your whole party. And you can pass that around. But if you do like another side quest or you get an item or you do something, it's like, oh shit, like, you know what, you're in cahoots with this guild. Let me give you another license. So now you can pass 2 clerics jobs around however you want to.
Okay.
And you can have up to 3 licenses of every single job except for the secret jobs. And I like that I like that a lot. I thought it was like, oh, I'm never gonna use it, but like, no, like I got the merchant guild because the merchants guild whole thing is like just make money.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bunch of shit money like saving around. So I go like another merchant guild card, and I was like, oh, you know what, like for this battle specific, I kind of want to have like 2 merchants, that way I can like move my BP around and donate and shit, and that was actually like really useful. So like they do stuff like that I like a lot. The one thing I fucking love Octopath 2. Like I don't want to be just gotcha. It's like it does. This one does so much better than the first one, and so because I feel like a lot of the conversation is, but like, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Like I don't see myself ever going back to revisit 1.
It's just replacing 1 in your mind.
Yeah, altogether.
Yeah.
Like even like the only characters I miss from 1 are Primrose, which is the dancer, because her story is just so fucking good. Therion, just because I like my Edgelord boy and I like his like sprite a lot. And that's it. Like I don't give a shit about the other characters. I really don't. I'm trying to think of like.
Can't even remember their names.
No, I know their jobs, of course, and I know their personalities, but like I don't give a shit about them.
Yeah. It's like for me with Valkyria Chronicles, where 4 just kind of replaces 1 in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people hold up 1, but. Like, 4 made some meaningful additions with, like, the mortar, the artillery job. Like, he had to rethink. You can't just spam scouts to charge in.
Talking about artillery, I've been waiting to... So I started a second playthrough of, like, Fire Emblem, and I'm actually pretty far up in there. And I have to, like, give it, like, a little bit of a stop because Octopath came out. And I've just been waiting for the 4th wave of the season pass to come out for Fire Emblem, because that has the story bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're adding an artillery job to Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's curious, interesting what it is. It's an armor class.
A range class?
A range armor class.
Oh, okay.
But like it cannot hit within the first 3 spaces in front of it.
Okay.
But it has a range of like 3 to 10. But that weapon cannot double, but it has like special effects to it. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. Like I'm probably gonna buy the season pass. That way I can get the extra emblems and finally the story bit. But like that looks really interesting to me. But yeah, I've just been playing a shell of Octopath Traveler, and I'm taking a little bit of a break and I'm going through Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. And now it's kind of like hitting me like how deep that story, like how like meaningful this story is. Like their character arcs and everything. Some of them are really lame. It's like I don't want to go back to the world because I used to get bullied for having white hair.
Yeah, that is silly.
Yeah.
But you're in middle school.
Yeah.
Like that's the worst.
That's our middle school problem.
That is devastating.
But like when you have you know, like I want to go back to the life where my dad is a drunk. He neglects me. Everybody bullies me. And they make fun of me, and I'm poor. Or I want to go back to the life where, like, I can't walk.
Yeah.
I moved to a whole new town where I don't know anybody.
I get bullied because my hair is...
Yeah.
That's such a small problem.
I'm a girl, and I get bullied by my hair color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's such a small problem compared to the other two guys. Like, achieve the swirl too for the other two.
But like, no, I'm enjoying it a lot. And I also forgot how short the game is. If you mainline the main quest, is fairly short. And I've been doing this thing where like the random battles that you can fight in the world are leveled to your average clan level. So if your clan level, so if you have your main 6 party members and you recruit everybody else at like level 4, everybody's at level 7. So that's what I did. That way I can just get as many abilities as I could for my main 6. And I got rid of all of them. So everybody's scaled to my level, and they made the game more challenging and a lot more fun. And I'm actually going through the main game and enjoying a lot of it that way, because back then when I was little, I didn't know that. So everybody was super overpowered by the time I did everything. It's like, oh, this is really fun. So I played it more of a battle simulator, and now that I'm grown and have half a brain that works, I get to enjoy the nuances of it.
If you want to challenge and you decide to go back to playing real tactics, download Hactics. Final Fantasy
I've
Hactics.
heard about that. I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's the way to play.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll probably play 9 before I play Tactics.
Okay.
Because Tactics to me just, some of it is used, some of it's also like Discord I've heard online. Tactics sounds kind of scary.
How so?
I've heard you can completely fucked up like a 60-hour save.
What?
With some decisions. Because
I have a backup save. There are some. There is.
Because I know there's
some particularly difficult spikes.
I know there's
a
particular difficult spikes, and I also noticed like, hey, there's this section where you use 3 missions back to back to back.
Yeah, Rio Vane's castle.
Yeah.
Save before starting the Rio Vane's castle encounter, because that is. Yeah. There are 3 fights, and they're back to back to back, and you just have to commit to like. The second fight's the hardest because it's a one-on-one encounter, so you have to commit to just like, okay, I'm going to need the main character in this specific build to deal with this specific way.
And that's the thing that I feel like I want to. Final Fantasy Tactics just feels very much like Baldur's Gate. Feels like I need to have a plan to tackle this game.
Nah, you can just plow through it. If you're a grind guy and you like grinding, like the story missions don't scale, so you could just grind through and just plow through the story missions.
Honestly,
then,
it's more of a...
Some of the random encounters, just like in Act 4, some of them were like harder than the final boss, and just like, oh, I have to fight 10 monks who are all level 99, and they just decimate you.
It's more of a it's not me being scared. Well, me being scared of like, it's an older game, so it's gonna have like old game jank attached to it. But like knowing that
that's why Hactics rebalances everything.
The main thing of the main missions being not scaled, it makes me want to like make sure I do some homework before tackling it, because like I want to have builds throughout the game. One of the big things I have in RPGs is like, like working whenever I go blind to something and then like discovering and stumbling on shit. It's like, oh, this is a really good build, and it's already like done with the game. It's like I wish I would have prepared this build very early.
Yeah, that's one of the things of with Tactics. You just play a story mission and be like, ooh, this is tough. I could either plow ahead and just use all my resources, or maybe a guy dies, or let me just go back to the save file before starting the fight and kind of rework my team composition.
I'm like,
so
really...
You have that choice of...
One of the things I really want to like do very early, or at least being able to get through most of the game, just because it sounds so cool to me. Black Mage Samurais.
Dude, it's the best.
Like, that just sounds like the coolest fucking thing ever, because Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2 has this joke called the Periveer, which is just a samurai with elemental blades. And it just makes me think of that. But like the fact that you draw out the power of the sword and it scales up on magic, like that,
which the samurai
has shit
magic stats. Yeah, so It's weird. There's a thing called de-leveling and frog leveling. Once you unlock the side dungeon, there are these trap panels that are, if you step on it, you lose a level.
Mm.
So you want to do is, if you want to really... I love how stupid this game is mechanically, because you could really min-max the shit out of things.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like, I'm assuming... So Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, the job that you add when you level up, those are the roles that you get.
So Tactics runs the same way. And then, because of that, those trap spots to de-level, you could min-max your stats by like, okay, my stats are this way. Let me pick this specific job to roll my stats down, and let me just de-level that. And then let me re-level back to 99 with this specific job, so my stats are this way.
That's what I'm doing with Tactics. That's what I'm doing with Tactics Advance.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to a point where it's like, oh, you know, like, you're stuck with Marche as your human.
Mm-hmm.
And the only real way to build it is a physical unit. However, it's not going to be as speedy as the other ones. Just like, I'm just going to get a level 25 ninja recruited, and it's going to be faster than him, and it's going to be a better double sword paladin than Marche. So I just had Marche as my Hunter Blue Mage, and it's an amazing support build I have on him, and it's so fun.
Yeah, and then once you go down to level 99 to get back to... Or go back down to 1 to get back to level 99, there's a thing called frog leveling. Because there's a different stage on that dungeon where you kind of like you corner an enemy and then you turn like the enemy and the character you want to level up into frogs.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have since the guy's a frog, he's only doing like one damage. And then the other guy's a frog, he's only doing 1 damage. But like the way experience scales, like so you're a level 1 guy like hitting a level 1.
No, I've
so yeah, just like
final power leveling and tactics. There's a couple ways that you can do it. There's a couple missions where like the real goal of the mission is not to kill the enemies, to kill these 2 statues.
Yeah.
So what you do is you kill everybody, and then you give everybody like self-inflicting abilities on the jobs you want to level.
Yeah.
And every single time that you do a self-inflicting things, you get 10 XP flat. So you do that for fucking however many turns that you power level units. It's the same thing. I found out you can do the same thing with frogs in the game.
Yeah.
You can turn somebody into a frog, and they do one hit of damage. So I just do like, I'm just gonna cure myself in the jobs I want to cure.
But like, it's like a like draw grinding in Final Fantasy VIII. You just kind of like put a weight on the X button, and then just like set the menu to just stay where it is, and then you just walk away for an hour and you're set.
I know there's like, I know one of the things I want to do is Black Mage Samurai, because that just sounds insanely cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard about Monk Thief being a thing, but I don't...
Yeah, it's the theories are, the schools of thought are either a thief monk or monk thief.
Because one of them like does more damage where it's not as accurate, and the other one's more consistent.
The other one has more speed.
Yeah.
So like, ideally, one of the things is because it has the way that active time battle works with the CT gauge. Like something you often want to do is get to 99 D level as a Lancer, aka Dragoon, since they have the worst speed stat in the game, and then re-level as a Ninja since they have the best speed stat in the game, so that gives you the best overall improvement. And yeah, you just always want speed, I think.
It's the same thing in Tactics.
Yeah.
Advance.
So like the Ninja Monk has more speed, but does less damage.
Mm-hmm. But you're getting your turns a lot more often.
Yeah, so. You're doing a lot more often and like better evade and crit. And then, but Monk.
Well, you trade yourself of speed?
Not necessarily. I don't remember.
Okay, sure.
There's some like I had.
There's a formula.
There's like the math calculations of what stats goes into the damage calculation, and then Monk, Ninja. So you have the more damage and better defense as the Monk, but you still have like the dual punching of the Ninja abilities. But generally, the Monk Ninja has better utility because the Monk skills are more varied, and you can cure status ailments. You can restore HP, whereas the Ninja their basic ability is you're just throwing items,
Mhm.
which is it costs you money unless you're duping your items. And like my whole point is to get in their face to punch them, to double punch them. Like I'm not gonna be throwing unless I need to. I really need. Like I'm not closing that gap, and I just really need.
That's a thing. That's a thing because that I want to explore and look into. Because in Advanced 2, there's the Bangas get a Master Monk class, which do more damage per fisted. And then you can give them like they have a perk called Scar, which as long as they don't get as long as they have full HP, they get 50% more attack, defense, and evade. So you equip them with 2 of the highest evasion shields, and then you have them that, and then you give them that perk on top of that, and you have them bare fisted because they're not wielding weapons, so they can wield 2 shields, and they just go to fucking town and then never get hit to physical attacks ever. So it's like broken shit like that. I want to do. I want to be able to experience that in tactics and. So like Monk Ninja sounds attractive to me. Black Mage, Samurai sounds attractive to me.
Yeah.
And I've heard Dark Knight Ramsa is the way to go.
You're gonna play the PSP version? Because that's not in vanilla. Dark Knight is War of the Lions.
It will be War of the Lions. That will be what we'll be playing. Because that's what's available.
Tactics, baby. Tactics. You don't have... Part of the I like original more because I hate the stupid fake old English translation in War of the Lions. I like the more direct, like modern colloquial talk. Like blame yourself for God rather than like let's stretch that sentence out into like 3 times longer.
Like ye all the blames that shows for the olden lore that it's gone.
Also with War of the Lions, I mean that's like the early days of remaster re-releases. So it's just the 4:3 image, but it's stretched out.
Oh, that's ugly.
So you like notice it a little bit, but like it's on the smaller PSP screen, so it's not that bad. But like if you blow it out a little bit, it's like it's more. You can tell it's stretched out.
Well, it's probably gonna be on the PC, but I keep hearing rumors about.
Actually, I think they fixed that. I think they fixed that on the phone version.
I keep hearing.
They have new portraits on the phone version.
I keep hearing rumors that
it's coming. That NVIDIA leak.
Yeah.
That NVIDIA leak has been 100% accurate so far.
That's coming, so I might just hold up that way I can put it on the Switch.
Also, there's weird slowdown in the War of Lions version.
Oh.
In every version. Because there's like weird specific programming to the PlayStation 1 that just
doesn't
hopefully they hammer it out for this remaster, but like every version of it just has it because it's just some weird quirk that nobody figured out how to rejigger. One more thing. When like spell casting, you have like a little chant or you gotta say the words for the spell.
No.
Okay, so like in a traditional sense, like
traditional sense, yeah.
Of just like I have to.
You have to
order,
in
order to say the spell. So Final Fantasy Tactics, like when someone's doing a casting spell, doing it randomly.
It's gonna be like
an ability.
This spell takes like 3 turns to go off.
No.
Okay.
Well, that's how that works because of like the cast time.
Oh, I hate that.
No, it's great. You have to plan around it. Like I'm going to nuke this guy with flare
in 3 turns.
Well, it takes way longer than 3 turns.
Jesus.
But so you have to plan around like, okay, I have to, like, my Black Mage is gonna do this spell. I have to move my guys to like, because there's no formal tanking system, so like I need to move a hardier unit like between him and the Black Mage. I love it, man. I love the cast times, man.
Oh, see, I hate that. That's one of my main complaints. That is my only complaint of the Fire Mage of Triangle Strategy. I forgot her name.
It makes stats way more important. It makes like a turn order way more important, and like strategically placing your dudes to cover a guy who's casting.
I didn't
like when someone is casting, they take more damage, so you can get completely fucked, man.
I'll have to wait and
adult tactics, baby. You gotta get on that.
I'll wait.
It's way more brutal.
See, I don't know how much of adult tactics that is. It sounds more like jank tactics to me.
No, it's
Because I forget her name, but the fire mage from Triangle Strategy.
Yeah.
Her ultimate taking a turn and was like, oh, everybody's gonna be leaving, or I can just make this, or I can just stun everybody that way they get hit with it. It just sounds like I just rather have the immediate.
No,
thing.
it makes you pay attention to turn order more, man.
Well,
and
what
it matters.
Well, I do the big boy thing and cast the big fire fuck you spell, and then I use my quietest point to act up right away. Gotta use all the systems. I'd rather be able to use all the systems than be able to be enslaved to a system. I like that better.
And see that it also makes choosing your subclass or your all the more important. Like Time Mage. Like let me equip Time Mage on this so I could cast Quicken, so they could like increase their cast time and haste and all that stuff. It's just the strategic.
The little layers to things.
Yeah,
so like you gotta prep your mage before you can like go to town.
Like Dragoon, my favorite class. But jump, you have to wait. You jump up in the air, which means like no one can target you because you're not there. But then if you don't plan it right, you're gonna drop down on an empty spot.
Final. Bravely Default 2 has that going on, and I actually really like how they approached it because the jump mechanic in that, because Bravely Default 2 doesn't have turns either. They have very much an ATB gauge that gets filled up based on your speed and weight and a bunch of other like things that happens.
Yeah.
The way that they balance jump,
baby.
the way that they balance jump around is very similar to that. It's like, yeah, you just don't get hit or anything like that, but it hits at a scripted time that the game decides where it hits. But because they added the weight stat to the game, the higher weight that you are, the more damage it does. Yeah. Which like I think like that's a fun little thing to mess around with. It also makes like different jumps more fun to fuck around with.
Also, Ninja Dragoon or Ninja with jump, because like the faster your speed is, the quicker you come back down and do the actual attack.
Is jump relegated to spear only?
No, you could spear. You get a damage bonus.
Okay.
But like you could do it with other things. So like a lot of the builds I've made are Dramza as Squire as his base job. So because he can equip great swords or night swords. So there's a specific night sword, I think it's Save the Queen, that imbues you with haste. So he just has auto haste and then just like jump with auto haste, and he's not doing as much damage as he would with a spear, but it's still like
consistently doing
so it's like
more.
doing a lot of damage still. It's great.
Man. Yeah, because advanced and I want to say advanced 2 has this where like jump can only be used with a spear.
Yeah.
So even like you're either relegated to the Dragoon job or you use a Templar that can do night swords and spears. However, night swords just are better weapons overall.
Yeah.
But if you want to have that Jumplar job situation, you can just use that instead. But yeah, I mean, like that kind of like level of thing that you just went into, and that kind of like bullshit I was just talking about with like Octopath Traveler. Like I mean, like, that kind of mood. So I just. Those are the only games that stretch that itch. Like I play a little bit of like Cyberpunk 2077, and like fucking not Judy. What's her name?
Pan Am?
No, not Pan Am. What's the other one?
Evelyn?
Yeah, Evelyn. Like her shit made me depressed.
Oh, it's such a bummer.
Yeah, I played Evelyn with being depressed, and then I was playing. It's like this is a little too. I'm not thinking too much. I'm just pressing like a couple buttons and they're doing the thing.
The last mission in the quest line is satisfying.
I just did the one where I rescue her from some slabs.
Yeah.
Underground slabs.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not
There's
good.
more missions after that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that bit where like you're talking to her for a little bit and then the prompt is like touch her and she winces at you. I'm just like, oh, that shit hit.
The natural trauma reaction of just like physical touch.
Yeah. No, because
completely bothers me now. Yeah. Devastating. I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, like, but I think I'm just gonna do Judy missions. I might check out some Pan Am. Probably not do all of Pan Am because I want to save that for my male character. Yeah. And then I'll probably just mainline it.
After you beat the story, it sends you back to like before a certain quest point. So like you could finish the game and then go back and finish the rest of the Pan Am missions and then go back and get that ending.
I know that. However, like I like the idea.
You want a banger? You want a banger?
Not only do I
He wants
want a
a
banger, I also want to have like I like the idea of like this one character has this storyline to it.
Yeah.
And then I have to make another character that way they can leave this other storyline. Like I like the role playing aspect of it.
But I like having both girls at the end. I'm just like, I got my best gal, Pan Am, and I got my romantic
I'm not one.
buddy, Judy.
I'm
We're
not-
riding off into the sunset.
I'm not my dad. I can't do that. Yeah, I haven't read that. Plus, I my second character, it's a corpo like fist guy. I think I told you that. I'm just making him into rude.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I just rather him end up with Pan Am. So it's like, you know, like knock him down a couple pegs.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Pan Am would be good for that.
Like that was my street kid build. Was my fist guy, and had him like do the corpo ending because his whole thing is just like, I'm all about being in it for myself and getting as good of a deal as possible. So
that's how I want to play my corpo.
Yeah.
But like when I did a couple like Pan Am things, it's just like I like what she brings. I want that turn to happen to, I want that turn to happen to my corporal guy because I feel like the street kid one is gonna end up like the edge runner kid.
Yeah.
I think that's what's gonna happen, and I'm okay with it because I'm enjoying it.
Because my corpo Vs are like, I was in the corpos. Fuck the corpos. I know how they work. So, yeah. Yeah, I actually booted that game up this week also. Just like, all right, where was I at? Like, okay, I'm at 50. My level's 50. My street cred's 50. I'm ready for the DLC, baby.
Yeah. That's kind of what made me want to revisit it because like I want to get some DLC and I just needed a little bit of a break from like doing all day menuing that you have to do in this kind of game.
Just like, okay, I need to think about all these moving parts.
And then I remember, oh shit, I play a hacker. Like I see menus regardless. So luckily my hacker has like throwing knife. It's a throwing knife build too. So I'm just like I just did that for like a little bit.
That's what I'm doing now to level up my blade skills. I'm just like, all right, let me sneak behind and throw knives. Like the thing is, I beat all the police scanner missions and all the other side quests. So I'm just like, I was driving around fighting random gang members on the street to just throw knives at to level up my knife skill.
Because I don't wanna. I'm taking these games, these big ones, it's like a very focused like approach to them because I've been getting burned down from like open world games. So like being able to have like, you know, this is the character I want to play in this run through.
Yeah,
it makes
good.
It feels good. It makes the games like so much more fun because it's no longer a 100-hour game that I have to play. It is a 30-hour game I have to play.
350 hours in, baby.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind playing that 30-hour game multiple times with different characters because I'm gonna get a different story.
Because I have 350 hours with 4 different save files.
Yeah.
Well, the first one I accidentally saved over, which is I made a second Corpo V Netrunner.
I heard the guns feel good in the game, so I'll probably try to do a gun
build. Yeah, they do. They feel great, which is why it makes Starfield even more disappointing. I'm just like,
I still don't.
Like like you could have good feeling gunplay in a RPG. Like Cyberpunk did it, and like 3 years later, it's just like this looks barely better than Fallout 4 gunplay.
God, what is it like? Yeah, like I think we talked about like Billy super excited for it, and you and Billy were talking about like the game like here and there, and in my head I'm just like, this is a game you guys are making up.
I'm going like I play those RPGs.
Yeah.
Like I'll play it.
I'll play, but like I don't think I'm
not
gonna enjoy
excited for
it.
it. Like I liked Outer Worlds, and as much as I liked that game, it just didn't hit me like Fallout New Vegas did.
I feel like Outer Worlds just unfortunately had, and I think a huge chunk of it is the budget constraints that they had just being a smaller studio.
I like that aspect where they made a shorter game, so it's easier to jump back into it and play it out.
No, I'm saying like the bit that hurts it is like the last fourth of the game just feels very flat. And it feels super rushed. And so, like, the payoff is not there.
I haven't played the DLC.
I haven't either, but, like, I to me, like, the very last fourth of the game just felt like everything that just felt like I was fizzling out.
Yeah.
Which I think that's just kind of like, well, fucking budget run out.
Something I loved about the Outer Worlds is, like, all right, I'm gonna make this weird choice,
Yeah.
and then like, all right, this seems way harder than it could.
Yep.
It's supposed to be, but I'm just gonna keep going through it. This is the choice I
Yeah.
made, and just like, and then when I get around to where I'm supposed to go, and then like, wait, I could have gone this other path.
Yep.
It would have been way easier, but I just had to spend more money on it. Like,
That's-
all right.
That's one of the things that made me like
Well,
really. That's one of the things that made me like it a lot, and that's one of those things. Like, I much rather have a 7 out of 10 game than a 10 out of 10 game because
Obsidian's.
they just fucking gonna explore that option. A 10 out of 10 is not gonna give itself the chance to do it.
Like Fallout 4, just
I
I felt like there was no resistance or consequences for any of my choices, and if they happened, it was just like,
Fallout 4 is really weird to me
Yeah.
because I like the world of Fallout 4 way better than 3. And I like the mechanics and I like how everything feels better than 3. It's just unfortunately the story doesn't drive me to do 4.
I never beat 4.
I
I was right before the final mission, and then like, all right, I'm siding with the underground and yada yada yada,
Yeah.
and then like, I don't care about resolving this
yeah.
Institute storyline. Like, the whole Institute of just like, we're gonna get replicants, like, seems like the plotline from a different flavor of sci-fi story, and then they just decided to plug it into this post-apocalyptic thing of just
The thing is, it's like
replacing humanity isn't rebuilding society in this post-apocalypse.
The thing-
it's, yeah,
the bit with that ending that I don't like is like I'm just like opposed to that kind of future to begin with. So like I don't want to fulfill it. I don't want to like finish it. And even though you can like prevent them, just like I don't even like how when stories tackle it.
yeah, like
I think the only one that's tackled it in a way that's super satisfying that I like, it's fucking Nier.
yeah, the whole thing. Yes,
Yeah.
it's like somebody played Nier and then
What if though?
didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because the whole, like, I don't care for, like, transhumanist sci-fi stories,
Uh-huh.
which is why I love Cyberpunk, because it's like, fuck you, like, this is already the norm of we're
Yeah.
replacing body parts. We don't give a shit about the ship of Theseus anymore. It's just, like, commonplace of just, like, immediately Johnny Silverhand's like, yeah, I guess I'm a digital facsimile of Johnny Silverhand, but I'm still Johnny Silverhand.
Fuck you.
We're over it now.
Yeah.
We're with it. We're on it.
We passed it.
Yeah, we're like, we moved past it. Like, yeah, this is the society we've been living
Well,
in.
I like when like
But just like the transhumanism theme doesn't. That story doesn't work in the world that Fallout established previously. I'm just like, why?
yeah.
This has nothing to do with like. It doesn't fit.
I feel like I don't know I feel like Fallout 4. I still don't understand why Fallout 3 gets revered as much as it does. I really don't. Because New Vegas is there.
Yeah. Well, I think,
And I'm assuming it's because Fallout 3 did it first, and
Yeah.
that's why you get revered so much.
and they had some interesting quest lines.
But I feel like
Like the whole Megaton thing,
Like,
choices.
that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I will give you that. But like the whole thing of Fallout 4 having to come up after New Vegas and Fallout 3, like yeah, like it's not gonna be full of the shoes. So like I feel like how much Asimov can we cram into this game?
Yeah.
And they were left with the replicant storylines that Asimov wrote, and it's like, well, let's put them in the end because we don't know where to put them.
Mhm.
Or it could coincidentally be what you said. Oh, somebody played Nier. It's like, well, what if we do Nier though?
Yeah, and also like,
One thing I do want to say about like the transhumanism cyberpunk, they touch it. They try to touch it at the very beginning of the game, and then Johnny just says like, "I don't give a shit. I want your body still."
yeah,
Because I'm Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah.
Because I just countered that with Judy. Like, yeah, it's a construct of Johnny Silverhand, and she just doesn't even like acknowledge its existence. It's like you have Johnny Silverhand.
yeah. That's what. Yeah, man.
But what have you been playing? We're just fucking been gushing about
Well,
menus.
Again,
Yeah.
what I've been playing outside of the 3 battle passes of Overwatch, which, you know what? If it's still in the store this weekend, I'm gonna buy the Tatsumaki skin for Kiriko. Because I love those exposed legs, baby. I love Tatsumaki. I love One Punch Man. 2, I've been playing Warzone 2.0, which is, man,
What's
that
different?
is fucking great. The new map. It has arguably the best battle royale map I've ever played. It's like the geographical features, like the points of interest, are just really engaging.
Mhm.
It's really like I love the city of it. The way they there's like a mesa with an observatory, and they put it at the center of the map. So like if you go up there, you can easily redeploy to other places of the map. I'm just like, yeah, why the fuck would you put the mountain in the corner of the map? It's like,
It makes that like a point of interest. Everybody wants to go
yeah,
to, and because
and
it's
like
in
if you
the
need to
middle,
reposition because
yeah.
of the gas, it's just like, okay, this is gonna be a hot spot because other people will use this as a.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes I will be shot at my back. I'll be hitting the back when I'm like parachuting off of the observatory. Just like, yeah, everybody's trying to do this right now because
That's really smart
like we're
design.
running. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so good. They also added.
That's something really bad. It's like we want to play with this mechanic. We don't know how to implement the focal point.
Also, just rivers rather than just puddles. There's like a river in the first Warzone map, but then it's just like this deep and you're just running through it. This one, the water, you can actually swim it and dive. So many a match, I will just... Because I treat Warzone as a stealth game, and
Fair.
then occasionally I'll have to... It's the new Metal Gear for me, honestly. Like, having all these systems in play and just me sneaking through a big map, I like it more than Metal Gear Solid 5. And just, yeah, okay, there's this river, and I need to get there. So I'm going to swim across the entire map and just like, all right, get some air and dip back down and just like stay underwater for as long as possible.
That's making me want to play Hitman.
Yeah, I just love it, man. And then 3, Fortnite. This season they introduced like a mega city Neo Tokyo kind of like
They're introducing like
feature.
Attack on Titan, aren't they?
Yeah, Aaron Yeager will be unlockable later in the season. There's grind rails which are fun, but like they added motorcycles that have like the Acura slide to it, and then it even has the light effects, which is cool. But like, I don't care about any of the skins this season, so I'm not
You're not
tuning
touching
in.
it.
Like when my buddies are on, I'll play. But like the solo game I've been playing. All right, I'll get to, because this is in the botch episode, Road to Rubicon. I'll finish with that because I'll be quick about it. Turn-based strategy games, Marvel's Midnight Suns.
I know you were hyped up for it, like
Yeah.
was one of the games, but you finally decided to
I
touch
finally
it.
got it because they had a free weekend on Steam and then also like a 40% discount on it. Played the free weekend. I'm like, okay, these mechanics are cool, and it's 40% off. I'm gonna get the Legendary Edition with all the DLC, which I just played the Morbius DLC last night.
Do they play into the movie at all or not?
No, it's
Good.
the comic.
I know it's the
Yeah.
comic Morbius, but the thing is, it's like, why wouldn't you play on the thing that sucks so bad that
Yeah.
people loved it?
Because Morbius was in the initial comic incarnation of the Midnight Suns team. So, like, they gotta have him. And also for the meme value.
Yeah.
But I'll just talk about story right away, just because story's whatever. It's
there weird, like, space
yeah,
thing?
well, it's... So, there's Lilith, who's, like, the mother of demons, who, like, got resurrected or whatever. And you play the Hunter, who is the child of Lilith, who defeated Lilith in the past, and then you get brought back to defeat Lilith nowadays. So that story's whatever. Like, I don't give a shit about it.
So
There's not a lot of going on.
You're Trunks.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, but you're not fighting Vegeta.
Yeah, true.
So
That'd be cool if you played
the story, I don't care about the overarching story because it's whatever. And these Marvel characters, it's not going to be as good as Spider-Man, where like I cried at the end of Marvel Spider-Man, but because it's this giant team ensemble where you have like a bunch of Marvel characters. You can't take big swings with the story with like the Marvel characters. So it's not that interesting.
But mechanically, they go.
Because it's not. There's a lot of story in it. It feels like a BioWare RPG where you could just spend a lot of time just talking to all these different party members and leveling up social links, which is satisfying, like in a Persona sort of way of just like, hey, let me go on a hangout session with Blade, and then like
little side note, I am
give him a gift, level up his relationship with him.
I am so pissed that Persona gets a phone game.
Because
I think I'm gonna be like near. I think I'm gonna be like near 40 when we see Persona 6.
Yeah. I'll be 40.
Yeah.
But then also the Project Refantasy.
Yeah, that's
which
dead.
we haven't heard from.
Yeah.
Because like maybe once a year, Atlas will release a character design from it. But also like that's what I'm more excited about because that's the game that's being directed by
for Persona 3, I think.
The Persona director for 3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So like Persona 6, he might not be hands-on on. Like I'm sure like he's built up a good staff who will be able to carry the torch. So, but like I'm more interested in a new IP. Yeah, just seeing what completely new they do because 3 games of this Persona formula that has lasted me my entire adult life. Like, I'm okay playing something new because I've played this for fucking 15 years of my life.
Yeah, something like that. I was thinking.
Yeah,
PlayStation 2. Yeah, never mind.
I still have my copy of Persona 3 FES.
I wish I kept my collector's edition of Persona 3 because that's what I bought. And I bought it on a whim. I was like, I know that symbol. I've seen that symbol before. I'm buying the collector's edition. And that's just because I played the previous like Shin Megami Tensei games. I didn't know fucking balls what Persona was.
Yeah.
And I bought it, and it rocked my shit. But, yeah, Midnight Suns, mechanically, how is it? Because it's like a card building game, strategy game.
Yeah, so the way it is, you have to make your deck for each character, and each character has 8 cards. And you have 3 characters in a party, so you have like 24 cards. Like, but the way it works like a deck building game where you'll draw a hand, and then those are the abilities you have for that turn. But there's so much, but there's so much. Like every character has unique passive abilities, and then also some of them have unique gimmicks to their cards. So that makes you really really think out how your team composition and also like individual actions during each turn, and then how you're gonna like build that turn into the next turn. And they also do a genius way of incorporating those abilities into the character personalities. Like Tony Stark, he's a self-centered dickhead. So what you could do is like each turn you get 2 redraws, so you could discard a card, so like to draw a new card. But if you like the Iron Man cards, because Tony's a self-centered dickhead, you can't redraw his cards.
Oh.
But when you use a redraw on his cards, they buff his cards.
Okay.
So and then
he's like, hey, you're not getting rid of me. I'm just gonna get better.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get better. And then also his passive, the more you use his abilities, the more powerful he gets.
So
you like
he wants to be snowballed.
Yeah. So like, all right, this turn I'm going all in on Iron Man abilities, and also, like, he has other cards where they build off of like, I can attack this many enemies based on how many other Iron Man cards are in my hand.
So dumb question: you have your 3 people. You have your deck of 24 cards. 8 of them have to be for each specific character. When you draw, is it for all 3 characters?
Yeah, it's all 3 characters. So like, maybe I'll discard this Captain America card because I have, like...
Because right now Iron Man is a better
position. Iron Man has better... Yeah, so that way... Because like a traditional RPG, you're just like hitting attack every turn, maybe a spell. So this one is just like, okay, what do I have available to me? how can I min-max, how can I optimize the play here?
Mm.
Like, Spider-Man is a really fascinating character because...
I'm assuming he has a lot of like movement ability.
Yeah, he does. So his gimmick is that there are environmental attacks, like positioning and like knockback is a huge gameplay element.
I'm such a sucker for those kind of abilities.
Because that's a fundamental ability in the fundamental mechanic of combat.
Mm.
Because there are minion enemies who just get taken out by one hit, regardless of what happens to them.
Mm.
But a lot of it is having skills that have knockback and then knocking them back into environmental hazards or knocking them back into like another enemy to do more damage. And then there's environmental features throughout, like where you could kick them into a group of dudes and like kind of go bowling with enemies. Like Spider-Man, a lot of his mechanics play into like, okay, I could move around the battlefield and like I could do the environmental attacks and he's just zipping around the battlefield. And then, okay, who's a character who will give the party more movement so I can better utilize Spider-Man? It's just it's so exciting. Just that, like, team composition is one of my favorite things of just any RPG, and there's that in spades of just like what ability is going to work out for this guy and what partner is going to work out for that guy. Because Morbius, like the DLC launched this week.
Morbius is like drain attacks, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so there's a bleed status effect.
Uh-huh.
And then he gets buffed when he does extra damage when the enemy has bleed inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
And then Blade, another vampire guy, he also has mechanics that play off of, he could give people bleed, and then also he could like
so ideally
Morbius, like naturally the two vampire characters work really well together. And then also you have Captain America, who's like a tank guy.
Oh, he's a tank?
Yeah, it's very fascinating. Oh, god damn. Making the right build for the character and then team composition is so satisfying in that game.
I don't know what it is about grid-based games, but having like movement-based abilities, like it just...
No grid on this one.
No grid?
No grid.
Oh, okay.
It's free form.
Oh.
So you could just move a character wherever. You only get one...
It's a kind of like... This is a really weird pullback if you never played it. Codename Steam.
I played that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't care for it.
Yeah. Nobody did. Nobody did.
I was hoping for like a Valkyria Chronicles of like, oh, this is like more
Valkyria.
intelligent systems than Valkyria Chronicles.
It's like one of the situations where like here's your grid of movement, move wherever you want. Here's your cone of movement, move wherever you want to within this area.
No. So what it is, you have your characters just starting out.
Yeah.
And then your attack or ability to use on them will move them through the map naturally.
Mm.
And then based on that movement, you have to think about, because again, that layer of, okay, if I attack this unit, Blade's going to end up in that position. So if I have Blade attack that guy and he's there, now that he's on that point of the map, I could have him use that environmental thing on that enemy there.
So your attacks drive the unit to where they need to be.
Yeah. So you're constantly thinking about the next step. But then, and you have one free move, and then you could move them anywhere on the battlefield.
Mm.
So naturally, that's either going to be used because like, oh, there's going to be this explosion on this point, so I need to get that. I could either use my move to get that unit out of that position, or I could have that unit do an attack on another character on an enemy to move them out of that position.
Gotcha, then.
But then characters like Spider-Man, they have abilities that give you more moves on that turn because he wants to move around and use the environmental hazards. So yeah, just
for a map that has like more environmental hazards, the other ones you kind of want to have Spider-Man in there.
It's kind of like my issue with that is the sameness of the maps because there's not I don't know. There's randomization in like the hazards that are there, but they're all kind of just very samey. But the situations are different from mission to mission, so depending on your objective.
Oh fuck! I never drank the coffee I made.
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool.
Cold
That's
coffee.
fire.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
depending on the objective, it's like okay, I need to prioritize these enemies, and then this team comp will work better for this objective.
Mm-hmm.
So it's satisfying. Like I think I might be getting bored with it, but I
Mhm.
think it's. But whenever I think that on the macro scale, but when I'm playing it, it has that classic Firaxis of like Civilization, XCOM design of like,
Mhm.
just one more mission, just one
Yeah.
more turn, and just like, fuck, it's like, am I getting bored with this game? I'm like, oh shit, it's 1 p.m., 1 a.m., I gotta go to sleep. But
It's
like, just one more mission. Just let me get that.
that's kind of how I felt with Triangle Strategy for a little bit because I felt that like, oh, I have this game solved. That's no big deal. And it's mostly because I was doing those like missions you do on the side with the bartender
Yeah.
lady. But it's like, oh, I have this game solved. Like I'm just gonna be playing with these units. Then I play a main mission. It's like, wait, no, I am. This is not solved.
Yeah.
My resources are capped out to where as much as I can, and the map I'm on is you don't need to have the unit low level. The the map, the unit where the unit. Sorry, the map is set up in such a way where this two specific units exceed that, and will make your life so much easier if you have them. I did not level up because I didn't like them.
Mhm.
So like little things like that is something I always appreciate about these kind of games. Was like someone will have like, hey, this is like the one strategy that you used to win, and the other ones are just like more smartly designed for like. You think you're bored, but then you're noticing it's like, oh, all these
Yeah.
systems put together makes it so engaging that makes me want to explore more things or try more things.
Yeah. It's
Because-
like I'm tuned in.
Because like I understand the mechanics. I want to mess with the mechanics.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, this does like 100 damage more than the other one, but I play with the other one.
Exactly. But like, just think about team comps. It's great
It's
because
so fun. Like team comping is super fun. Like one of the things that makes me kind of sad, and this is from what I heard, and this might be from granted. This is something I heard years ago, and I haven't done any research on it. The monk guy from Final Fantasy IX, not really good.
no, he sucks. He's the last character you get. He has no personality and has no bearing on the plot at all.
But
You get me,
mechanically was. Because he's basically the monk ninja.
Yeah. Again, like the
And I
monk,
like how he looks.
monk abilities, like in tactics, versatile.
Yeah.
Like not the best though, because like
He can do a little bit of everything.
yeah. So he's kind of that.
Uh-huh.
But like if I want a physical hard hitter like Steiner, he's gonna outclass him. If I want somebody who could heal, like I have white mages. I have 2 white mages.
I can't remember. So it's a 3-party or 4-party? 4?
9? Yeah.
Okay, because I know I'd have to use Zidane. Like you have to use him.
It's
So like I know I'm gonna have him, and he basically is he's your speedster guy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming I'm gonna be using Kingdom Hearts did its job by making me want to explore more Final Fantasy. I wanna use Vivi because of
one of the,
Kingdom Hearts 2.
again, just that
Yeah.
the powerhouse, the glass cannon build.
So I've heard like. So I think in my head I wanna use
Also, he could buff Steiner.
I wanna use Steiner, Vivi, and Zidane, and then for my white mage.
Amarant. Oh,
Amora with someone.
he's the monk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. I just know him as the
No.
blue guy.
Yeah.
I heard I wanna use the summoner girl, not Dagger, the little one,
Aiko.
Aiko, because I think Dagger's kind of a cop out.
She's great. Like
She's like one of your main girls, right?
just like no, the white mage hood in that one cutscene,
Yeah, because she wears the classic hood, right?
and her storyline is just so great, man. Just like how my mom's a bitch. I gotta fight my mom.
I've heard BV's storyline is like super sad.
Yeah.
It's super depressing.
But also like mechanically, once they have mechanics playing to storyline
Yeah.
of just something traumatic happens and then she just goes mute for a while,
Oh, okay.
and then just every once in a while in combat, just like No, failed to cast because she has the yips and going through trauma.
But and each one of them have like different summons, right?
Yeah.
Like
They have
Dagger
different summons.
gets Alexander
And Bahamut because it plays into the story.
but Aiko gets Arc.
And Maydeen.
Ooh, okay.
Maydeen is a lion holy damage if I'm not mistaken.
It is because that's what it is in Tactics Advance.
Okay. But yeah.
No, I'm probably gonna play like once I'm done with Tactics Advance or Octopath, and I don't feel like playing Fire Emblem. I'll probably pick up 9 because I'm like really high good time, especially with because 16 comes out what May? June. Like that's right around the corner.
Yeah, I gotta get a PS5 with
So I have to. That's right around the corner. So like I feel like it's due. Like Final Fantasy 9, at least in my life, is due its time. I'll check out 5 one of these days, but like 9, I feel like I need to.
You've never played 5 either?
I played.
Play 9. Play 9 for the
play 9.
Because 5 is just 5 you can play anytime. 5 is an evergreen Final Fantasy.
That's the job game, right?
Yeah. Like 3 introduced it and then 5 refined it and just yeah, if you love fucking around with builds and team comp, that's 5 to a T, baby. I don't give a shit about
the main reasons why the main reasons why I want to play 5 is because of that and because of Extra.
Yeah. You can find a tree, man. It's great. Gilgamesh.
Yeah, that's the introduction too.
Yeah. And yeah. You should play Midnight Suns, man. If it goes on sale and if you want interesting battles,
I'll tell you this. I'll play it when it goes on sale. It's like $30 to $20. Because the core Marvel concept, I do not give a shit about.
The thing is, like again, I said the story doesn't fucking matter.
But I still have to like play.
But the story overall doesn't. Who gives a shit? But the characterizations are really good. Like the character interactions. Again, you're getting that like BioWare Persona level of like chatting with your dudes, like hanging out with the goth crew. Like fucking Ilyana Rasputin, man. She like if I expanded my waifu list to like top 15, she'd be like 11 or 12.
I get out back real quick because I'm what's the word like turtle?
Oh, you pooping?
I'm pooping.
Oh shit, he's pooping here. Today's episode of After School Tea Time brought to you by stuffed cherry peppers. These are delicious. These stuffed with mozzarella and prosciutto, and they're oily as fuck, but boy, are they delicious. Have that olive oil slip right through your GI tract and give you the olive oil farts. Quina?
Yeah.
Yes. She eats the enemies in order to gain their abilities. Like how it should work in real life.
I think I might just do Zidane, Quina, Freya, Amaranth. The weirdo party.
That's a fun party.
Because I looked it up like best party and
there is an optimal party.
And the optimal party is like I guess her name is Garnet, not Dagger.
Well, that's the alias she uses. But yeah, that optimal party.
The first 4.
Garnet, Vivi,
and Steiner. Yeah.
That's
some people like party. You can sometimes
depending on the situation swap out Steiner for Eco, but
I've heard swap out Steiner for Amaranth because he has healing too.
Okay.
But like yeah, but I'm just like I really play with the weirdos.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for blue mages, so like I'll probably play with Quina. Even though she probably has no bearing on the story because she's the weird one.
Ooh, I hope the camera's actually working, but this is funny as well because I was eating those peppers.
Dude, those peppers were good.
Yeah. I finished it.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Like, I would have done the same thing.
I was planning on having them for the weekend, but no.
No. I mean, today's the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Today is the weekend.
Yeah.
Fucking nothing going on. Dude, you want to see the Dungeons & Dragons movie?
When is it?
Next weekend? Or this weekend or next weekend? Because I'm hearing it's a fun action movie. Dungeons and Dragons. This week, they had in the Regal Theater. They showed a Godzilla movie.
Oh shit!
Tuesday or something.
Which one do you know?
There's SOS in the title.
Okay. Monsters. Yeah, yeah.
Where is the March 31st is when the Dungeons and Dragons movie comes out. So next weekend.
Yeah. I don't think I'm doing anything, so I'll be down. I have to
Okay.
double check.
It turns into an owl bear.
That's the joke. Owl bear. What's that? It's an owl bear, of course.
Eldritch Blast. But the Marvel's Midnight Suns. The characterizations are just really good. It's just the talking between characters makes it fun.
I'm assuming Blade is just Blade. Like, don't fucking talk to me. I'm here only doing my mission and nothing
He's a
else.
cool guy.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Because you have like the younger heroes who are the Midnight Suns.
Is he a cool guy or is he blaxploitation cool? Because those are different levels of cool.
He's a well-rounded character. Because he's like a cool guy, but then he's also a bit of a dick. Because
always like those.
Yeah, because he's a dick to Venom and Morbius. Because like they've been bad guys, and
no,
just
they're
like,
freaks.
and then like as the hunter, as the main character, you can have a dialogue option. Like, yeah, you're a vampire too. You deal with the same hunger. It's like, yeah, that's why I know they're dangerous.
Yeah,
but he's a fun guy. He's endearing. He's got a crush on Captain Marvel, which is pretty funny.
I like that. The freak killer hates the freaks.
Yeah, it's about self-hatred.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the gifts you could give for like the interactions, because it's like that sort of game, is like you can give a self-help book called like The Demon Within or whatever.
That's not true.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's fun. It gives you maximum friendship points when you give it to characters like Ghost Rider or fucking Venom.
Well, hold on. You have Mix and Ghost Rider in this one, though, right?
Yeah.
What's his deal? Because he's the young one, right?
There's also old Ghost Rider who plays into the story. He's not playable, but he's involved in the story.
There. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Talking about like weird RPGs with like that kind of relationship system, you know who didn't do it right? Fucking Magna Carta.
That Korean is it an MMO or
it's just an RPG?
Okay, well, like the 360 era, right?
That's the second one. The first one's in PlayStation 2.
Okay.
And the first one has that really weird mechanic where it's really weird because I like that PlayStation 2 era of like we're just gonna make the jankiest shit we can think of.
Yeah, I
put
love
it there because like we're in this new field that we can explore and we can like just throw shit at wall, see what sticks, what doesn't. You have your party of 3, and each one of them are dependent on the same like elemental power that the levels source from. So you're encouraged to be changing parties here and there, and then you get the items that just give you the powers, anyways.
Yeah.
But in the slow times where you have your fire, you have your little like bonfire places. You're gonna talk to the party that you have and give them gifts. That way they like you. That way you have a better bond with them. There's so many fucking gifts. And it's not a situation of like this gift they like it this much, this gift they like it this much. It's like they fucking hate this thing, or it's like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Turns out the more consistent one is like boiled egg. You can give everybody a boiled egg and they like you.
Yeah.
I think there's only like 2-3 characters that don't like it, and then luckily those 3 characters like the same thing. So you can just give them that and be okay. And boiled eggs is super cheap, so you can just make everybody's like shit super.
Yeah, and you can also hang out with them.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, what available hangouts? I could play video games, work out, or like, go on a stroll and like, oh yeah, Peter Parker, he's a young guy. He'll definitely prefer playing video games, and then you just play video games, and then they'll have dialogue and whatnot. It's a good RPG, man.
One thing about Magna Carta, the character designs are just so they're so fucking weird. Everybody's stacked. Like the guys have like huge titties, the girls have huge titties.
Their like thighs are
like the size of your head. Yeah. They're shaped like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Like
the only reason I know about that game is Creative Uncut.
Yeah.
Just back when there weren't that many RPGs, of like, let's just go through these pages and see what cool art styles there are, and just like, whoa.
That artist is so fucking on point when it comes to like character design. I really like how he's able to blend like so many like different cultures into like one outfit.
Mm-hmm.
However, some of them just look like fucking shit. or they're just repeats. I literally remember in the first Magna Carta, the main character that you play, the cool mercenary guy that just all action, not enough talking, because he's cool. Like he lets his actions do the talking, not him. He doesn't talk. There's an impressive young man that wants to suck your dick. He thinks you're really cool, so he dresses a lot like you.
Oh.
He has the same combo of like samurai pants, but his are slacks. They're not samurai pants, and you have this really weird like sleeveless like V neck crew turtleneck with like falcon feathers. He just has a normal V sleeveless t-shirt, but he tries to look a little too similar to you because you're a cool guy. You're the leader of mercenaries.
Oh, it only has the
The
art
second
for Magna Carta 2.
one.
So that's why I was thinking like a 360 game, because
No, I played a 360 one as well, and they fixed a couple of the issues of the first one had, but still kind of like.
yeah, all this drip, man.
Yeah.
So much drip.
Mm-hmm. And the first one it's also just straight up has Marilyn Manson. Like they do this weird thing of like we wanna
Yeah, like this. Like, look at that thigh. It's clearly like not a human pose, but it's stylistic, stylish. It's great.
like I'm okay with breaking some rules in anatomy and
Yeah.
design as long as it looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because like why wouldn't you want to make your thing look the coolest ever?
Yeah.
But yeah, Magna Carta has this really weird like racism storyline where like there's the normal people and there's the halflings that live in our world and they're evil and whatever. But the main discernible thing about them you can tell who's a halfling and who's a normal person. Their ears are weird.
That's it.
Yeah. And the big shock turns around, so it's like the weird bitch that you rescue that has amnesia, and the bitch is like super stacked.
Mm-hmm.
She's the queen of the
As she should be.
halflings. And you couldn't tell because her weird ear thing is not that. It's like a normal ear, but like over here at the very point, it's kind of pointy. Yeah. Also, the voice acting in that game is goddamn awful.
And there are a lot of
Mm.
old RPGs that I wanted to play. Like, it's a series that I don't think it came out. It didn't come out in the West, but I think it's called Black Matrix. It came out on PS1.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So this is the main character. This is the character you play most of the time because you're able because they can. If I don't remember correctly, if the characters you could that's not your party, you could control them or you could issue them commands.
Mhm.
But like that's the main character you play through most of the game. Here's the second one. So it's like clearly like they make it a point to tell you it's like yeah I think you're really cool. I want to be just like you. So he uses the same type of weapon type that you use and the same color scheme. To show you you're really cool. And now there's a picture next to each other so that way you can tell like, yeah, no, like, dude, I want to suck your dick. Let me suck your dick. You're really cool.
Cool guy.
But yeah, this game straight up just has Marilyn Manson on it.
Oh, with his fucked up ears.
Yeah. And of course they do the things like, I'm an evil queen and I have 4 riders with me. Yeah, see, like, her nipple is almost out.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for that. Like, I'm the big evil, and I have my 4 riders, or my 4 hounds, or my 4 winds, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that kind of setup, and it just relates back to the 4 fiends.
They have that in a little bit in Midnight Suns. Unfortunately, it would be cool if you had to fight all 4 of them at the same time, but considering I have Venom in my party now and Scarlet Witch, clearly you turned them and they joined. But
How does Venom play? What's his gimmick?
So
I'm assuming it's a little like long range shit.
he has ability, like naturally he has abilities similar to Spider-Man, but his passive thing is called Ravenous, and with each time you do one of his actions, he gets weaker. Like he debuffs himself. So you have to plan around. Like he's a beefy character to start out with.
Oh, okay.
So like he gets weaker as you have more of his abilities, but then he has abilities that like he has support cards where like okay, you get to use this card and then you draw 2 Venom cards and those ones don't consume Ravenous.
Oh, okay. So he has like a resource management.
Yeah, resource management mechanic. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a really fun way to build a Dark Knight character.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. But he's just, on average, he's stronger from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah, because his character model was like twice the size of Spider-Man. He's just like this big old gorilla. It's fun. Just also like later in the game when you get Captain America, and not later, but like I spent a lot of time just dicking around and just doing battles and leveling up characters.
So you weren't doing main mission?
No.
Okay.
Like I made sure I'm doing all the DLC missions as they come up before I like proceed with the main story. But yeah, I'm 60 hours in. I'm like halfway through, but that's because I'm just taking my time with it. Whereas I think my buddy has roughly the same time, but he's like close. He's like close to the final battle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just that kind of thing where you just fuck around, man. I
Yeah.
can fuck around with team builds and comps and just it's satisfying. It's so satisfying.
I love a good
You know,
team build.
just having Wolverine as a tank too, because
What? I mean, it makes sense.
yeah, because you could build a block, which is like a extra overshield that goes over your health. So like Captain America is really good at building a block, and then Captain Marvel can as well.
Mm.
And then
Captain Marvel is the one that's able to expand her shit. Is Captain Marvel the Puerto Rican or the
Captain
Middle
Marvel's
Eastern?
white. Miss Marvel is Pakistani.
Who is the space Puerto Rican?
America Chavez.
Okay.
I can't remember if she has a superhero handle or if she just goes by America Chavez.
Okay. Because I always get those three confused.
You get all strong women confused?
Yeah. It's only a handful of them.
I don't know. Emma Frost, baby. She's a top waifu. Top 10.
And there's only a handful of them, and the one that I can just call out right from the get go and I know who she is because she's green.
She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's the best. Yeah.
I like her in Marvel vs. Capcom.
I think she would. Well, I like the way she played. But yeah, I think the last character I get for the roster is Hulk. Because right now he's one of the thralls.
Okay.
So like
Eventually
I'm going to have to fight Hulk in a battle, which I don't look forward to.
Oh yeah, like in this one, like the good guys are the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because they get poisoned.
Yes. So like there are 4 guys who get taken over: Venom, Scarlet Witch, Sabretooth, and Hulk. And so far, like the enthralled enemies, it's a cool mechanic because you'll fight them in story missions, but then for some random encounters, if you're just doing some side mission, they might just randomly pop up. Because the way it works is another interesting thing about the battle system. Depending on the mission objective, there's just after each turn more reinforcements come.
Okay.
So you have to really manage how you're handling each enemies. Like, okay, there's this.
Is there any other
There's like a shield guy who's gonna like block, like provide defense for other targets, so you can't target them. There's gonna be like a healer guy. There's gonna be a guy who debuffs my party. So you have to think about how am I gonna manage this? Am I gonna take care of am I gonna use my first turn to take out one of those special units, or like there are the grunt units that get taken out in one hit regardless of what happens to them, like, but they still do regular amounts of damage to you. So like, am I going to use my turn to like thin the field so I don't have just a bunch of guys doing damage to
Is there any other mission objectives other than kill all the dudes in the map?
No, there's objectives where like I need to capture this Hydra agent. So in order to do that, like there's gonna be a shield enemy who's gonna be blocking that, so I need to prioritize like killing the shield guy, and then have to use one of my actions for that turn in order to capture the guy, and then that one triggers the end condition of like, okay, enemies stop respawning, just kill whoever's left. And there are other ones where it's just like defend this
Yeah, I'm assuming it's
defend this target, and then you have to like fend off 5 different waves.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming there's like live as long as it's like, hey, like live this many turns.
Yeah, and there are like special ones of like, here's this special enemy, like kill that special enemy, but they have like special mechanics going on, so that makes it so it's not as simple.
Kill this enemy, but you gotta kill these 2 things, that way you can damage it.
Yeah. Or just like, yeah, it's fascinating.
Like mechanically, like Midnight Sun sounds really like interesting, just because like I said, I'm always willing to like try out jank as long the idea behind it is like super interesting, or just does something different.
It does different to a T, because there's no other RPG that plays like it. There's voice of cards for, I mean, there are specific deck building games, but those are.
I mean, like my go-to deck building game in my head that's an RPG is always Mega Man Battle Network.
Yeah.
And I know it's not that, but that's like the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, but because you don't have the team aspect of like the team comp and like the synergies between.
Is there like card synergies that you can use?
Yeah. Because Scarlet Witch with her thing, she focuses on doing like AoEs around her, like specifically around her. But again, you only have one movement. So if you team her up with Spider-Man, Spider-Man creates more movements for your team that turn. So like, okay, now I can move her like to this group, have them like wipe them all out, and then move her back to my guys and just like cast debuff around us, around the team. Yeah, it's so satisfying, man. It's the geniuses who brought you Civilization and the modern XCOM. Like, of course they're gonna make interesting systems.
Even though I'm not excited for a game, when it comes to like games like this, I want them to do well, either critically. I want them to do better sales-wise.
Yeah. This game,
just because I
unfortunately, which is like, you're coming out in December, in a time when like everybody already bought their Christmas gifts and whatnot, and then also the average. Look, I love Marvel movies.
The average Marvel
fan
is not gonna
shit.
get. Yeah, they're
like I don't what are all these systems? Like, no, it's
when they get to shoot the thing.
Yeah. Like, and then you have like you have the, I don't know, the Firaxis diehards who are gonna get it because they know the pedigree of it. But then you have
pedigree. That's a
wrestling move.
Yeah, that's a wrestling move I learned.
But then you have other strategy nerds who are just like, oh, this is gonna be a dumbed down baby strategy game because of the Marvel license, and then it's just it did well though. Like, having the free weekend and like the sale at the same time, it was like the best selling game for like that period of time on Steam, and it was like one of the most played games. So like I think it got a second wind of just
I
also the DLC of like fucking Morbius and Deadpool coming out, just generating more buzz for it.
I think
Deadpool is my least favorite character to use.
Really, why? All the card stock.
I hate Deadpool's humor, and like I love that they incorporated that into like his card action animations. That's neat. But
shut up.
His thing functions similar to Iron Man, where the more, because like he's a self-centered prick. Like, the more you use his stuff, like the better it gets. But rather than just using the redraws or having more of his cards in the hand, like Deadpool's cards get buffed when you have to kill an enemy in order for the buff to go through. So it's just like,
well, it plays into the mercenary persona.
Yeah, so again, like the genius way they get the personality into the gameplay mechanics, it's fascinating. But like, his cards aren't as useful as other party members at doing the specific thing, and it's just like, okay, I could build up his buff, but I could just use other abilities that do it more efficiently. Like, oh, I could do that thing if I build up the buff to this level, but then like, yeah, I could just use this character's ability to just fucking do that thing. Like, fuck it, he's useless. And look, I'm gonna level up all the characters, the relationship levels, But him is just, it's taking forever because I don't like using him in a party at all. It's just so. Everybody does their thing much better than him.
He is a solo character. Like
Yeah.
it's one of the because this happens a lot like job focused like RPGs. So it's like, hey, like these job synergies are amazing. This job synergy, like they're made for each other. This other synergy is actually highlights what the one synergy is, or it's like the synergy like patches the weaknesses of the other one. But it's just some specific jobs like, oh, that just does what he needs to do and nothing else.
Maybe I could. I don't like his abilities, so there's definitely a team comp that'll work with him. I just don't care about finding it because I could put him with Doctor Strange where he buffs the party and like buffing Deadpool and then he builds his buff, but like I don't give a shit. I don't care enough about the character.
Put him with Venom because you need to build up Deadpool and Venom already.
I do need to build it like the DLC characters. Yeah. Like I need to build those guys up. And like,
Venom is DLC?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I wanna try Final Fantasy 9 before 16 comes out because I think when 16 comes out, that's all I'm gonna be playing.
Okay.
Like nonstop, and I keep seeing gameplay of it. No, I'm a liar. Street Fighter.
Yeah, I'm not getting Street Fighter.
You're not?
Not at launch. Fucking 16. I'm getting the collector's edition.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I'm blowing the price of a console
Yeah.
on Final Fantasy 16.
No, that's true. Yeah, never mind.
I'm paying because I also still have to get the console.
You're paying like 600 plus.
I'm paying like $1,000 in order to play Final Fantasy 16. If they ever release DLC for this game, I'm gonna wait for the PC version because I will double down and get the PC version. That is my preferred platform. But Spider-Man 2 is supposedly coming out in September, according to Tony Todd, who voices Venom. So, like, yeah, this year I'm definitely getting a PlayStation 5 for Spider-Man, but we might as well do it before June for Final Fantasy 16, and I don't have to wait.
Yeah. For Final Fantasy 16, I know I'm just going to be picking up the standard version. I'm still not super sold on the QTEs. I feel like I don't understand where they were thinking with the QTE.
Hopefully there's an option to
I
skip them, because like most modern games have that option and accessibility options to skip QTEs.
I feel like QTE was one of my least favorite things of like, what is it? 360 was 7th console generation, right? That was like my least favorite thing of the 7th console generation, and I'm so fucking happy it died.
You can do them.
I like how
you can do them well.
I like how.
But the best one, I'd still rather not have.
Yeah. I like how Yakuza 7 does it, where like they're like. Let me circle back. I like how Paper Mario does it, where they just give you bonuses to the things that you do.
That's not really a
It's not
QTE though.
I like that better.
That's more like that's more of like a built-in mechanic of just hitting like a timed press. Whereas
I like that way better than just actually like do the thing or you fail.
Like Vanquish has fun ones. Fucking Asura's Wrath is all that. That's fun.
For some reason, I can forgive.
I'd still rather just show me a fucking movie, man.
For some reason, I can forgive Ashura's Wrath on it, and I think a huge chunk of it is just the aesthetics and the art direction behind it.
Yeah.
I still hate the DLC decision, and I hate that I bought into it because I wanted to see it through. But God, I love that game. I wish Ashura's Wrath was either Marvel vs. Capcom or Ashura's Wrath was a skin in a fighting game.
Yeah, why?
It should have been.
He'd be perfect in Marvel vs. Capcom.
I feel like if he wasn't already, because I gave up on Street Fighter 5 like by season 3 or 2, I gave up on it. I'm surprised he wasn't a skin for Kage.
Yeah,
because he'd be perfect for Kage.
Dude, he'd be great with just think of like supers you could do with him, where like a super he pops out 2 extra arms and then like
just auras.
Yeah, it just like adds an extra hit to his hits. So I don't know.
I easily like one of like
so much
level 3 could easily the one scene, you know, like and then when it comes to Ashura Rest, there's the one scene where the giant guy just fingers the earth. Yeah, like that's an easy level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I get it. Also, one of the things I really like.
Remaster that game.
One of it, remaster it, make it $20.
Yeah.
Make it $20 or $30 with all the DLC.
Yes.
Because that fight with Akuma, super worth it. That is by far one of my favorite depictions of Akuma.
Find him on the moon, right?
You find him in the moon and he turns into Oni. And then at the end of the day, you fight so hard you turn into statues. And then thousands of years passes. And after those thousands of years passes, the statue starts moving and they wreck and the DLC ends. So it's undecided.
That's cool.
Yeah. No, I fucking love Actual Wrath, but no, that game is garbage.
It was an interesting generation.
Yeah, it was.
It might be my favorite.
I mean,
all around. It gave me Demon Souls. It gave me Valkyria Chronicles. It pioneered my favorite shit that I like in my adult life.
It was definitely a generation where I thought, oh, Capcom's gonna get put out.
Dragon's Dogma. Yeah. Give me Dragon's Dogma. It gave me Nero, man. Devil May Cry 4.
Yeah, it gave us Lost Planet.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love Lost Planet.
Yeah.
Such a.
I was hoping that weird dinosaur game was either Dino Crisis or Lost Planet. It wasn't.
It's Anthem. It's Anthem 1.5.
But Japanese.
It looks fun.
Yeah, that's a problem. It looks fun.
It's not free to play, right?
I don't believe so.
Because I'd at least play that for a weekend. It was free to play. Because the idea of having these class-based mech suits of just like I imagine you'd be the beefy tank or whatever. I'd be.
That'd be like the one. No, that would be the one I played, of course.
Yeah. Like, we should see if we can get into the beta. I played for a weekend.
Yeah, check it out. I'm interested in downloading the Resi demo.
Let's see.
Leave me alone.
Go back to Spain.
You know that's where Resi takes place.
I know. I want them to put a giant worm in your skull.
Oh my god. I'm gonna get some of that coffee because I'm passing out.
Want to just end the episode?
I think so. I'm surprised you didn't end it when I went to poop.
I love you, Sheriff Truman.
I love you, 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 I love you.